Hi guys, it's Mary Wong and I am the author of Pathways to Pregnancy, founder of Alive Holistic Health Clinic, and I am your life coach tonight. I'm an acupuncturist, but tonight I'm putting my coaching hat on because here's the thing. It is November, the 6th, and I'll tell you, the days are getting very short and gloomy, so a lot of people are walking around a little bit more disenchanted, a little more sad. And so the thing is, let's find ways to be happy in the moment. And today I was actually supposed to interview someone, but last minute they bailed because for whatever reason. And I was gonna cancel, but I thought, no, we must go on because we want to make a difference. And so how could I contribute today, right? And so I wanted to go on, and I thought, gosh, we all need a little bit more happiness. And don't mind me right now, because if you hear background noise, it's my cat. So let's just not worry about that. And what prompted me to talk about happiness is because here we go in life. Like I said, there's the trivial external things such as the weather that can bother us. And we can tend to complain about our lives, the complexity of our lives that can really cause some melancholy thoughts, right? If we have had long time or long-standing amounts of pain in our lives, whether it's physically or emotionally because you've been trying to conceive and you haven't been able to, or you've had anxiety because you've been worrying about a job, or both, looking at your job and trying to conceive, or having kids. There's always something that we can be worried about. And our emotional stress can impede our ability to be happy. And so I don't want that for you. And listen, I'm a regular human being, and you'll catch me being more optimistic than not. And I'll tell you, it's not because I have less crap in my life than everybody. I would say that we all have something. We all have layers of stress. And I'll tell you, it certainly seems that way the older I get. There's just like more layers of stress. Older parents, or trying to conceive when you're an older person, or again, work stress. Friends that get sick, all of those kinds of things. So how do we move? How do we go forward feeling a little less stressed, a little bit more relaxed, a little lighter? And so I'm going to tell you and share with you some habits, okay? So one of the habits that I do in terms of happiness is doing thought check-in. It's called a thought check-in. Meaning I catch myself. So how do you do that? So that's an activity, but allowing me to be present, being in the moment. So are you the person that says, I'm not going to be happy until I have a raise, or if I accomplish this task, if I have a baby, something like that, anything like that, and I'm not going to be happy until? Well, that's a future-based conversation, and something in which that you might be able to control this much, but when you're trying to conceive, it's like 0, right? But you can look at certain things that you can control, like how you respond to your stress, or what you can do today in the present moment. So being in the moment. And the other thing is you could be stuck with worrying about your future that you can't control, or you focus so much on your past that you can't go forward. One analogy I like to share is that when you're driving a car, don't we need to be steering and focusing forward? If we're looking at our past failures, past mistakes, and when I say failures, I don't mean failure as in like I failed as a human being, But that's what happens in life, right? When we fail at something, we typically take it personally and think that we failed. When we have a failed IUI, an IVF, or a negative pregnancy, we take it personally. And I say, you don't have to take it personally. My cat is right here. I'm going to grab him. So, we can't control a lot of things, which includes my cat, while I'm trying to do this video for you. So what we can control is to bring our minds back into the present moment. And maybe in that moment you can create what can bring me happiness right this second. Right now. What can I do right this moment that can make me a little bit happier? I can breathe. Right? So I think it all kind of goes together. So the number 2, I say stop overthinking. So that's part of that, tied into being in the present. Because when you're overthinking, you're thinking of the past, you're thinking of the future. Rarely do you think about the present moment. Really, like never? Almost. Because most of the time we're worrying about what has happened in the past, and we're worrying about that going into our future. Or we worry about the future that we can't control. So we need to, again, do that thought check-in and check where your thought is at. Is my mind focused on worries about things that I cannot control? Fear of the future. So we're going to stop doing that, right? So number 3, let go of specific outcomes. And I'll tell you, this is a hard one, especially if we have a certain vision of how things should look like. I should be pain-free. I should have, like my baby yesterday. So these are expectations. Now, I'm not saying to give up. It's like, so some people will tell me, well then should I just fully give up and then I feel like defeated? Sometimes it may be that. And sometimes when we walk off that journey that things come to us. And so what we need to do is look at riding the wave of where we're at. And in life, I equate it to, so in Tai Chi, there's a move called push hands. And if we meet it with force, because we don't want to look at something, that requires energy. And if you just keep on meeting it with force, you're going to get tired. And I can't tell you how many people walk into our clinic tired because they're feeling beaten up by past events or the fears of the future that stops them in their tracks and not have them walk forward. So can we walk forward anyway? Right? Let's just walk forward and embrace the unknown, embrace the fears, and you never know. So riding the waves and letting go of specific outcomes, meaning stop expectations. And when you stop having the expectations in your life, typically you may feel less burdened, right? The pressure that can come with having expectations. So if you expect that if you're having pain and you expect it to go away in a month and it hasn't, what's going to happen? You're going to be depressed about that. If you expect to have that baby in this IVF cycle, you're setting yourself up for disappointment if it doesn't happen. I'm not saying it can't happen, but let's not expect it. Be open to the possibility that you'll have a child, but come from a place of, I don't know when, but perhaps I can persevere and it will come. And I'll tell you, sometimes it's like you are like hanging off this little string of hope and you really don't know if it's possible. But just know that it is possible because I have witnessed it, I've seen it, and I personally have gone through it. And sometimes the struggle takes longer than you think, and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can bear another day. But I tell you, as Eleanor Roosevelt says, you're stronger than you think. Women are like tea bags. You don't know how strong you are until you're in hot water. And that is so true. It rings so true for me. I remember when I just wanted to give up, I thought, oh my gosh, how do I have the strength, the courage to move on with another IVF? When that was the only thing I could do in terms of trying to conceive, because I had blocked fallopian tubes. And somehow you go through it. You go through the sadness, not around it, not skirt around it. So there is sadness, but with that comes happiness, because happiness is in that moment when you choose and says, yes, I can do this. I can do this again. So I'm not saying deny yourself of all the feelings that are to be human, to be experienced. But your stress levels will decrease if you're able to sit back, kind of go with it, go through your emotions, and then be able to be in that present moment, and then go into the next thing and embrace the fail if you have a fail. What do I mean by that, right? Again, I mentioned it earlier. If you fail something, don't take it personally. You're not a bad person. You're not incomplete. In fact, I would say otherwise. And you learn from failed cycles or failures or making mistakes. And when you learn from that, you'll choose a different way to go around things, right? Haven't you ever done that? You made a mistake and you're like, oh, right, I'm not going to do that again. And what am I going to put in place? So you have a strategy around it so that you won't do it again. So sometimes failures, if you look at it from the bright side, it is an opportunity for growth. It challenges you to rise above and create a new vision for yourself in a positive way. And that hopefully can bring a little smile on your face. It's like, crap, I don't want to be here, but wow, I'm going to grow and I'm going to learn. I'm going to be a better person for it. And lastly, and most importantly, listen, there's 10 habits, really. And I read through Dean Graziosi. He's a bit of a, what do you call that? A motivational coach / business coach. And he talks about 10 habits. And I've taken 5 of my favorite habits from him right now, but certainly there are more. And one of the things that I do every day for sure, and I encourage every one of you to do this, is having a gratitude journal or just a gratitude practice, whether you say it out loud or you record it on a device or you share it with family and friends or you say it out loud to yourself. Just do it, because there's research that shows that when we practice gratitude on a daily basis, it impacts our brain waves, and our frontal cortex has an impact for our emotional well-being. So when we physically do this and you connect the mind, brain, and even physically writing or saying it out loud verbally, that connection is stronger. Certainly if you, like I said, share it with someone, write and share it with someone, or share it with yourself and record it, there's this mind-brain connection to your heart, and it makes a positive impact. So it's not like, let's not overstretch it and think of, let's see, like you don't have to come up with some brilliant ideas of what you're grateful for today. It could literally be like you're having a really crappy day and you're, having a hard time figuring out what can I be grateful for. Well, it's really about the little things in life. So think about 5 little things in life. And maybe my personal practice is I start the beginning of the day so that I set myself up in a more of a positive mindset so I can get on with my day. And even if I'm embracing a hard day, I do this every single day. And I now practice it with my daughter, my family, right? I've been doing that for years actually, but I'm telling you now, it makes a difference. So, for example, like today, a little too much disclosure, but it's like, all right, I pooed today. Because sometimes it can be hard, no pun intended. Or today, I am so grateful that it is sunny out while it's getting cold. We can complain and focus on the cold, or we can complain and say, oh gosh, it's hard to poop. Or we can complain about whatever there is. And what do? You focus in on that. And when you focus in on the negativity, what happens? It's going to drag you down. It's going to make your energy low. And if you want to create life, it requires you to pick up that energy. And the mood kind of helps. Yet sometimes I actually say, don't let the moods shift your focus and your commitment on whatever you're up to in your life. But if we can practice gratitude, like I'm grateful that I have my cat here with me. Someone to love. What are you grateful for? So, these are just a couple of habits that I'm sharing with you. So I'm going to close off by just repeating it. So habits, 5 of them. Practice it every day. Be present in this moment right now. So maybe, how do you practice it? Well, by doing a check-in of your brain, your thoughts. So how can you do that? You can literally like set an alarm if you want, or have triggers. So maybe at every mealtime you can check in. What am I thinking about? And are these thoughts helpful? Am I worrying about my past? Am I worrying about my future? And instead, go, right, let's bring myself back into the present moment. And one way to bring yourself back to the present moment is by checking in what you're thinking about. Notice what they are. And then breathing in and out nice and slow. Maybe 5 breaths. And then move on to the next thing. So number 2, it's like stopping the overthinking by doing what I just said in number 1. Number 3, letting go of expectations, specific outcomes. That'll just make you a little bit more happy, right? Riding the wave. And then number 4, whatever happens in life, when you fail at something, know that it's going to help you in other ways. As Tony Robbins says, life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you. So you can take whatever happens and spin it another way. So instead of seeing things as a failure, you can look at it as an opportunity for growth. Sometimes we don't like it, but it may make it a little easier for you to tolerate, to move on, to move forward, to do it again, to try it again. It's about standing back up, being able to stand back up when you get knocked down. And I apologize again. See, there are lots of things that we can't control, like my cat right now scratching the heck out of this whatever, and you can probably hear it. But we're just going to keep going. And then the last thing, again, do the gratitude practice by either writing it, speaking it, sharing it, 5 of them every day. You can do that in the morning, or you can do that at night. Maybe you can do 1 in the morning and 1 at night. Okay? So, love you all. Have a great evening. Hope that this serves you. Please share, because really this applies to everyone, not just anyone trying to conceive. So, have a great evening, and we'll talk to you next time. And keep well. Share it. Like the post. You can go on to marywong.life and just actually go to the video section, and there's over 140 videos right now currently. You can scroll down this Facebook page. There's some there, but most of them lives on YouTube now. So you can check up Mary Wong RTCMP, and you'll be able to find me. Okay? And can't wait to see you all. Please give me feedback. Please share. And we shall talk to you next time. Love you. Bye for now.